I went up to the comic convention up in London this weekend, and as ever, it was great. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Absolutely wonderful, chatting with loads of people as well. It was really great. Obviously, James, Robin, etc. It was brilliant. So let's just go through the comics I bought. And also I bought a few other things as well. And a few books as well. So let's just go for it. First one being this one. Marvel Superheroes. Now, this is the Medusa one. Pretty terrible cover, I have to say. And also, not only that, I caught a bit of tape on it. Always the way, especially considering it's such a lovely, lovely yellow cover there. But the great thing about Gene Colan's artwork, really, really great. Now, I don't think she'll ever use that costume ever again. Anyway, I can't recall that. Because you've got Frightful Four in it, one of my favourites. Also, some great magazine ads. Also got Dawn of the Submariner, which is really good. Also, some Black Knight as well. This is what I loved about those old brilliant Marvel superheroes or collector item or fancy masterpiece. You often get these backstories that are really good. And of course, this one had lots of Golden Age, lots of brilliant Golden Age ones. Of course, they've been reproduced since. But the thing about these is they still look sort of like probably as they were back in the day. Thoroughly enjoyable. And one that I've been looking for ages, so really pleased I finally picked it up. Related to this, I've got this one, Marvel Greatest Comics. Now, this was, I believe, the Marvel Collector Item Classics that, of course, became Marvel Greatest Comics. I have no idea why they changed it. Personally, I preferred the Collector Item Classics. This one's got a slight cover, sort of, didn't go particularly well. It's been flattened in some weird way. Obviously, cost, was it 2 shillings? 2 shillings, apparently. Then you got the good old Gideon story. And as ever, of course, with this just great little Fantastic Four story. The richest man in the world. Not Elon Musk in the story. However, if a man be mad, and it's the slightly odd Iron Man story, always reminds me a bit like the Spider-Man one as well. You've got some weird aliens there and very strange. And you've got, of course, this brilliant early Captain America one, Tales of Suspense, of course, issue. And also a brilliant one with, of course, Ancient One and Doctor Strange during the period of Dormammu story, one of the classics, Ditko ones. Really love the artwork in this. Always great. So this one, Marvel Greatest Comics, number 26. There's also another one here, 24. Now, I've been buying these pretty randomly in the sort of my memory that I haven't got them already, which is probably pretty risky after a while. When you start buying too many of them, you start thinking, oh, did I get 24 to it? Did I get that again? Which is always possible since I've read all these stories, of course, over the years. And this one, of course, the Invincible Man. It's all connected with the scrolls. Sorry for the spoilers there. But it's still a good story. Atuma, or Atuma, I don't know how you ever say his name, never a favourite character in that one. With Iron Man, of course, normally, of course, Submariner. Now, it's got some really weird, this one's. Now, I never saw this in the Marvel Masterworks pin-ups book. Maybe you shouldn't, I don't know, it's not really that great. Mechanically Yours, Iron Man. Anyway, it's always nice to see a poster there, but the Watcher must die, of course, but he doesn't. Of course, he can battle anyone, can't he? And you've got the Dormammu story still going on, obviously there, Mordo sort of proffing about something. So that's issue 24. Now, one that I was over the moon to get, I've never had this copy, never had this issue. I've read the story, of course. 110. This one of the Avengers, the Magneto one, a brilliant cover, of course, just classic cover. I have destroyed the X-Men. Well, of course he hadn't. But inside you got Don Heck, drew it, as it says there. And you got Roy Thomas, blue pencils here. And this, you got the X-Men mansion there, of course, they go there. And even dinosaurs turn up in this story, as they do. But still, a really good story with Magneto, and a favourite of mine, because the X-Men were not at this period with their own comic. They had their reprint mag, and that was it. Of course, a few months later, or a little while later, of course, we got the new X-Men. Still, somehow, not sure why I didn't buy that when it came out, but still, that's one of those things. And this is my first Avengers comics that I ever bought. Of course, I got rid of my copy, so it was great to pick this up again at a good price as well. Seen it, quite often quite expensive, 111. Just a classic story. I think there was also another one with Daredevil 99, sort of in between storyline there. But here comes Daredevil, it says there. So, and the Black Widow, with two beside them. And James was talking about this. I love these ones. We've got the Balham, I think it's Balham High Road. Yes, 41 Balham High Road. Obviously, there was a Popular Book Centre there. Does anyone have any memories of that shop? Was it a great shop? Was it a brilliant one to find things? I really love those Popular Book Centre places. They just always had some really weird stuff, but they always had the annoying stamp scrawled over, so maybe the price would be second-hand exchange, all those sort of ones. Put 3D and they'd really scrape it into the comic. So many great issues probably were destroyed completely in there, because often you'd have piles of these comics and people would just be looked through and ripped through over and over again. But again, this was just a brilliant issue. As mentioned, first Avengers I ever bought. I've mentioned before, Fantastic Four 132 was what the comic that I remember getting first. I bought them before, but I can't recall. Submariner 59 as well. And this was same period, the May thing. So 110 would have probably come out, but I only had a limited amount of money to buy a limited set of comics. But that time you could get these comics. I was still picking up Spider-Man 100, Avengers 100. Those sort of ones were still turning up. Oddly, in the shop, in local shops, you just find them and you think, that's totally out of order. This one, of course, brilliant Colour Destroyer. Absolutely superb. This I bought from Nick's table. Always a great table to go to. So that was brilliant. Also, next door, there was Alan Class. He's got some new, don't ask me which ones they were, it's some summer specials. Got two come out. You can also find them in Gosh. So if you want to go down there, Alan Class, got the books downstairs, you can find those. Oh, that's another thing you'll remember, is that there was an absolutely brilliant collection of fantasy fanzines. Whole mix of stuff. And I'm going to show a few here in Gosh. So if you're a fan of fanzines, and I'm a big fan of those, I wish there were more of those at Comic Marts. You don't always see them, though there was a few sort of Comics Unlimited, those sort of things, Fantasy Unlimited, absolutely great. Onto this one, Submariner. I bought this one, Force, A Man Called Force. Of course, he had that weird costume at that point, Submariner, and On the Brink of Madness, as it says there. Great issue. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And again, this one's Don Heck. You can always tell Don Heck. Namorita as well was in the storyline, and Doctor Strange was turning up there. I think everyone was in this storyline. So this one, the Savage Submariner Strikes, as it was called then. Of course, it didn't last much longer. Issue 73, I believe, was the final one. Showcase, the Sea Devils. I'm a mega fan of the Sea Devils. Personally, one of the most underrated series. Maybe it isn't underrated. I certainly think it doesn't seem to get the love that it really should, because it just had really brilliant covers. I love the covers. And also, inside the stories, I just first rate. The artwork is absolutely brilliant. Brilliant stories as well. Always really weird, quirky stories. And I just love them. Just love those underwater ones. Now, there's another series I keep thinking I must pick up. Cave Carson. It's probably not very good. I don't know. But I love these sort of like oddball, quirky ones that, I think are quite good. No, I don't know when this was actually. 1960. Year of, a year before I was born. So there I've got Showcase Sea Devils, and this one is issue 28. Now, unfortunately, it's not Brave and the Bold 28. That would be a good one to have got for about £5, wouldn't it? However, they did get a series of their own, and again, great cover, and they got another one of those good old popular. Right, and unfortunately, this one just says BK Centre. Doesn't give an indication of where it was located. I wonder why the other one... Anyway, the other one did, but this one didn't. It's going to be very hard to determine if that was one like in Shaftesbury Avenue. I think there was one there. 4p, obviously 4p. Maybe 4D? 4 old pennies? I don't know. This one is 1963, of course. The Secret of the Sunken Ships. This was issue 13. Just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And... again, there's the storyline there. Now, I don't know how many issues continue. I think it was 30 odd. Now, they did come out with a showcase book, black and white one of these, but I would love to see a DC Finest set of these. I just don't know why they haven't released yet. but maybe one day they will. You got here the secrets of. They just had weird stories. So you think, oh, it's going to be just under the sea stories. It's going to be. They threw everything into this. To me, and I've mentioned it before, I always feel like this is the Fantastic Four. The origins of the Fantastic Four came out before the Fantastic Four. Always felt 4 characters. You see the woman there, the character. Basically, for me, looks, and also the young lad looked like the Fantastic Four. That's my theory, anyway. And another one, Sea Devils, and this one is issue 18. And look at that great cover. What a weird cover. I mean, that's just like, you have no idea. And it doesn't even hardly show, it doesn't even show, you struggle in vain, Sea Devils. Okay. Very confusing. If you were just going to the shops to buy this newsstand, you look at it, you see the Sea Devils, you can see that. But you're thinking, where's the Sea Devils? But still. And they also, of course, got the good old letters pages, which, of course, this is one thing I like about getting the original comics as well. It's just great seeing them in the original form. But letters pages, just people's thoughts, the time, and all the sort of things that have direct currency or whatever. I don't know if this one did, but again, the artwork is just first rate in that one. That one doesn't have, it's just got the usual 9 old pennies, I think, maybe 12 cents. Okay. And this one is quirky. I love the Justice League of America. So this one is another one that's joined the collection of Justice League of America ones. There's no way this one with, obviously, his name, whatever his name, the sorcerer there. And entire universe, every living thing will blow up. He's got, obviously, ambitions there. But you've got Batman, Flash. I always love their roll call. Of course, they all often had the roll call along the edge of the comic as well. In this case, of course, these early ones, they didn't, but they always had this. Good old, I love that. I don't know why. It's stupid, isn't it? Just the black and white along the top. That was round about 66. See, I suppose pop art. They wanted to give it a sort of pop art feel. Not certain why that would suggest pop art. Barbara Riley, maybe. I don't know. And of course, you still see there the advert for that one, 80-page giant one as well. But the artwork, just great, really great stories. Just always Mike Sikowski, never say his name, and Sid Green there. But love those. And of course, had to get a 100-pager. I've still got quite a lot of 100 pages to go, but they are often quite expensive. They do turn up, and sometimes you can find a decently priced one. And this one is great. Of course, it's got Superboy in it. It'd be weird if it didn't, since it was called Superboy on the front. That would be an odd one to mix. But you got Supergirl. Yet to see the film, so I haven't gone to see it. I'm intending to go and see the film sometime this week. There's, of course, Spider-Man coming out soon, isn't there? Next week? I don't know. Now, my local town in Maidstone, it's possible that it'll be out some point, I guess, fairly soon at the Odeon. Hope it is. Anyway, I will go and see it. And, of course, there's Odyssey as well, which I'm really looking forward to. And Legion of Superheroes, of course, Cosmic Quest of Lightning Lad. And also this one, which is great, one of the Brave and Bold ones, the Teen Titans. Really good Teen Titans story. When they were very limited Teen Titans, you know, like Kid Flash, Robin, etc. and Aqualad. And then you've got a Superboy story. So you've got just one Golden Age story, Kid Eternity in this one. But it's still very good. Right, on to the magazines. I've also got a few books, but I'm going to do reviews of those later. But I wanted to do this. I'm not going to do a review of this one. Apologies if people expect everyone says, please do a review it. No, I probably won't do a review of this one. I try and do it every once in a while. But the Infinity Moonraker, I thoroughly enjoyed that. Moonraker, really good. The Grace Bond movie, I don't know about that. But I loved it. Never seen it before until recently. I got Blu-ray and I laughed my head off. I just thought it was really absolutely silly. Still looking forward to see that. Empire of the Ants. It's just come out on Blu-ray. It's probably on YouTube as well, I guess. But anyway, Richard Burton. I never liked that. Richard Burton in The Villain was not a favourite. But as usual, brilliant set of contents there. Of course, the Dark Side. I've yet to get that, or maybe I will, maybe I won't. I don't know. I will check it out when I go down to T.G. Jones. And you've got, of course, the usual there. Great little intro. And it's also talking about this one, Hammer in Production Hell. It's a book here of the ones that never made it. I'm always fascinated by ones that never made it, so I'm going to have to check that one out. And of course, you've got these lovely old TV times. I would love more articles about the old TV times. Always just great to see those covers. Obviously, some of the inside bits, always fascinating. And you've got here messages, obviously, from beyond, obviously letters, etc. Always fascinating to read people's memories and thoughts about all the various things. I think there's one here talking about the ABC, ABC Regal. I love going to the cinema, those sort of Saturday morning picture ones. Just great. I remember queuing up and everyone charging, and you had just 2 or 3 hours of just ridiculousness on the screen. But they were great. Empire of the Ants, good article about that. Like I say, there's the Blu-ray there, or is it 4K? Don't know. Eureka, I always love this. Lots of great ones. Steve McQueen article, which is very good. Also, another, I said, Moonraker one. I did enjoy that. Thoroughly enjoy it. Great posters, as ever. Always love the posters. Never put them on the wall, though. Maybe one day. Who knows? Strip to Kill. And also Swamp Thing. A few things, obviously, reviewed. Always enjoyed the reviews. And that was brilliant. Special effects. I thoroughly enjoyed that film. It was just a weird, quirky film. Don't know about this one. Arcade. Sounds interesting as well. Never heard of it, I must admit. Not one I'm aware of. Got here Space Mode, it's called Independence Day. 30 years ago. I love that film. Second one, not so good. But still, usual selection there. Strange Things Happen. And, I think that one, what's that one? That was the Tales of the Unexpected even. Tales of the Expected. That would have been a less interesting series, wouldn't it? But obviously there's Susan George, etc. And they were great. Not all, but a fair amount of them. I thoroughly enjoyed that one. Oh, you got I, Claudius there. Obviously not I, Claudius, but you know me. And you got Crackerjack as well. Crackerjack, Maintaining Nuisance Value. Crackerjack. Good old Crackerjack. And the usual selection, obviously, of their books. And also other things as well. Lots of other things. And Villain. That's it. And the next issue is coming out 30th of July. Amazing Stories. I love that. There was actually Amazing Stories. One of those Wonder Stories. Wonder Stories. Anyway, it was one of those at the Comic Mart. I picked it up and then put it down. I always love those ones. Just the great little stories. And I love the artwork and the covers. Always brilliant. So you can see, obviously, Linda Carter there. Wonder Woman. On to something that I did pick up, and that was in Gosh. This one is odd. I have to say, I won't show everything about this. Yancey Street Journal. This is a weird one because it's Britain's leading comic fanzine. Only 40p. It came out around, must have been a certain Avengers in 156, that sort of period, I think. But it's got some, obviously, the artwork and things. It's quite good. But that's more the case of this one. I didn't know what it was. I've never seen it before. And it's got some, let's say, more artwork all the way through. Quite decent enough. But it's also got the power of M-Lock, which clearly looks a bit like a certain... But anyway. And also Street Talk. It mentions various things, obviously, that are coming out at the moment. Invisible Girl, talking about Miss Marvel, Miss America, I should say. The Marvel family as well. Gets mentioned there. The Flying Skull, and a few other things, and also John Carter there, of course. So a nice little one, picked up at Gosh. So that was one of the ones. Put that away because it's got rusty staples. Rusty staples is the one thing that always slightly bugs. Always end up finding rusty staples everywhere. You don't want to step on a rusty staple. However, this one's an odd one. Now I don't know. This is volume 1, number 2, so it's quite an early one, 1972. I would say. I vaguely remember the format of that, but I don't remember actually buying a copy of it. It's possible. I don't know. 5p. And this one's September 1972. And it would have come out around about the time where I started collecting comics. So it's really nice. But I don't know if I'm missing some pages, because I think the way it talks, it sort of suggests it was 12 pages. Oh, I haven't seen it. Maybe it is. I don't know. It's not... It doesn't seem many pages, but it doesn't seem anything missing, so I guess it's complete. Inside Fantasy Domain. And you got here Steranko, Shadow, etc. And you also, I love these things, he's always got see someone in Cardiff, does anyone know about that? The Mr. S. Collier in, see there. And it also goes on about all the various comics you can see there. I think I've got that one. Weird Worlds, The Demon, of course. And it mentions here, Beast dropped. Due to poor sales, the Beast strip has been dropped from Amazing Adventures, as from issue 16. That wasn't the case, it was issue 17. But still, because 18 was the one with Kill Raven. I love that one. Kill Raven. and it will be replaced by War of the Worlds, based loosely on the Book of H.G. Wells. The story will feature 2 heroes. In the first couple, 2 heroes. Interesting. There's only 1 hero. But anyway, it's quite. With this comes the news that the X-Men soon to contain all new material. Why didn't I read that? As I didn't. But anyway, Gulliver Jones, soon to be decided. I should have continued. There's a book coming out soon, the Gil Kane one, that's got some of that. Now, I haven't got every issue of that. Replacing Gulliver Jones is Thongor the Barbarian. Why? It was okay, Thongor. It was nothing super special. Teen Titans discontinued from issue 43. Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. And also it's got one from the Crypt, and Death Lives and the Vault, Tales from the Crypt. Obviously a little bit of EC there. And also the Shadow, of course, the Shadow. But it also mail order Marvels it's talking about here. It's got a bit about here. 60p. Distribute. Why not have all 10 of the British distributed Marvel comic distributed to your door from 60p plus 5p postage and packaging? Wow! I mean, that's good. And the thing is, it's really good about this. It talks about Reno Jones. I really enjoyed that series. Yeah, that lasted about only 7 or 8 issues, but still was good. And it talks about here about the comic catalogue on 6, and you've got a cover gallery as well. World's Finest, Supergirl, etc. I love those Supergirl ones. And it talks about all the ones when they were coming out, not coming out, all sort of things that happened around that time. It was a weird period. As I mentioned, it's 72, 73, I got into comics, but you would get sort of a batch of comics. I would find odd issues all over the place. There was no consistency on the arrival. Also, I picked this up. Mickey Messages and Songbook. I love 70s music. I love 60s music. One thing I really love, near enough as much as comics, is records. I do love records. I haven't done any sort of things about records, talking about music, all that sort of thing. It's not really something I want to do more videos on. I love some things. I'm in a choir. I love singing. I love all this. I'm not going to sing any of these songs, but there's some great songs in there. Some that I remember. But unfortunately, one thing with all these things, it would have been nice if they had the music as well. But of course, they didn't. But that would have added a lot more cost to it, wouldn't it? Just add the words. And some of these, I don't know, whatever happened to you. I always thought, whatever happened to the Lightning Lads? But still, it's just Mike Hug. It's Mike Hug. Name very familiar. And this was good. Good grief, it's Chicory Tip. And the thing about that, people probably don't know who they were, but son of my father, absolutely great. But the first line is the telephone call from Maidstone, because that's a local band, Chicory Tip. So that's quite nice to see. Didn't know that when I bought it, of course. It was My Boy Lollipop and Cinderella Rockefeller. I remember that song. And this one, I had to laugh when that. Here's a super chance to win £5 LP token or a signed photo of Gary Glitter. Wonder which one. But still, on to this one. I can't remember him. Another Without You Day. What a weird name. Another Without You Day. And on the back, Springfield Revival. Name's sort of familiar. Don't know what happened to them. Anyway, so that was 5p. A bit more expensive now, but still really great. Now, I did get this. Get it right. Tomorrow. Olivia Newton-John in Tomorrow. It's a science fiction one with music. So it's combining 2 things I really love. Doesn't mean that 2 things you love doesn't mean it's going to work, but it looks great. Groovy songbird, Olivia Newton-John is out of the world, and this one is a BFI one. Love Blu-ray, BFI, always great stuff. But it's Swinging London. Tomorrow's in this space-age Swinging London musical. 1 minute she and a band are busy laughing, getting blah, 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 student sit-ins. The next aliens are beaming them up to a sparkly spacecraft. The tonalizer. It sounds really good. Kitsch, etc. Fully restored, Earth re-entry. Don't ask too much, but just know it's tomorrow. But it's got some great extras. Special features. It's got Chipmates, Alice Goes Pop. You've got various If I Could Turn You On, 13 minutes, and you've got loads of British entertainment, Val Guest, etc. Interviews. The Nose has it, 8 minutes. Tomorrow Night in London, that's a 5-minute London Swings. So that should be very good. Haven't played it yet. I will. We'll be looking forward to watch that. So that came. Really looking forward to that for a long time. I did have it on DVD, never watched it. So I should finally get around and watch the Blu-ray. The latest DC Finest, I will do a review, but I haven't read it yet. It came last night. In fact, it came last night. Unfortunately, went to a neighbour and it just had one of those signs that said, we've left it with a neighbour, and they gave a name. And I'd never heard of the person. I thought, So I had to go and knock on everyone's door. Finally found it. But I thought, it would have been just not easier if they just put the number. How easy would that have been? But anyway, no. Put a name who I'd never heard of. When the Old Gods Die. And you can see there, quick flick through there. Lots of Jimmy Olsen stories, Superman, obviously not Supergirl, I can say Lois Lane, and lots of course, of all the various storylines. They're just brilliant. The covers appeared in 1970 to 1971. Now, there was a few bits when I was looking through this, and I remember buying quite a few of these comics over the years. The story just jumps a bit, which is slightly a bit awkward. It's not like a continuous flow. You suddenly you're going from one story and then suddenly it just goes off to another story and you think, what happened? And then I had to flick through. I've just been going through, and there was a Superman one that did that. It suddenly just stops, and I'm thinking, well, was there anything else? Did that story ever get resolved? I couldn't find it. Anyway, probably there somewhere. But it's got a lot of stories. So if you're a fan of this new Gods, of course they did bring out a whole load of these Kirby ones, big fluorescent pink and things, and those ones. Table of contents, and you can see there's a lot of stories, quite short ones. Neil Adams, of course, their cover artist, etc. And you can see there, lots of those. And I'm actually saying lots of stories. There's not too many, I suppose. How many pages? About 555, which is a reasonable set of stories. However, another one, the Robin one, the origin of Robin. Interesting because this one does actually have that was the one I meant to say. This one's got only 530 odd pages, but it does have a lot of stories because they're all short ones. And you can see here, table of contents. Table of contents, you've got some there. Got some table of contents there, Rich Buckler, and some more. And you've really got a lot of stories here. World's Finest. And I just wonder, when if they bring out sort of a World's Finest, DC Finest, will they be, that's a bit of a mouthful, World's Finest, DC Finest? I assume they'll be double dipping these ones. So you're going to get a lot of double dipping to this, because there's a lot of stories that sort of over the thing. You can see that from, look at that list. There's the list there. And it's got Batman ones, of course. So the Batman ones probably will be in the Batman series. Detective Comics, of course, again, unless they can include Batman, that is. Also World's Finest. And then Superman pal Jimmy Olsen. I wonder if that's included in one of the Superman family kind of things. And also Batman Family 1 and issue 3 to 5. So there's a real mix of stories, and this covers quite a period, 64 to 1976. Now they did come out with an omnibus. I haven't got that. Don't know the overlap, whether there's overlap. There must be a lot of overlap, I would assume, with those stories. But again, one thing, I love these DC Finest because they're a bit lighter, much easier to store and read and just generally pick up. Omnibuses always, I find, a lot harder. So that is what I picked up this weekend, or came through the post, through the letterbox during the weekend. And hope you found this of interest. Any thoughts or questions about all of these books? And also, what did you get? Did you find any great things? There were a lot of it, as usual. Lots of things that I thought, and then, no, should I buy that? Should I not buy it? It's always one thing. But I did, finally. It's taken me a while to get back to do it, because I did have a list. I'm actually writing a list out of all the comics I got. And I put them onto, not a spreadsheet, just on a single page. So this is the Marvel selection of stuff, lots of Submariners, lots of Avengers, etc. So I'll be going through and do that finally, because when you go to the comic convention, the one thing is you pick and go through these things and you think, oh, that looks great. And you think, have I got that? And then I just don't buy it. Or if I buy it, then I get home and find I've got it. What can you do? I don't like doing that too often, but it does happen. So, be interested to know what you bought. Anything good that you really thought was absolutely amazing. Notice there were some good EC ones. There were some lovely EC boxes. Two-fisted. I think it was two-fisted, vaguely remember. It was those sort of things. A few tables that I didn't see there that normally are there, so that was quite surprising. But there was, I thought, a decent selection of things. Also, they had the back room open. I always call it the back room. I don't know what it is. The third room. They had the third room. That had some great stuff as well in there. I always love when they introduce that one. Was talk about with chatting about the fact that wouldn't it be great, and maybe it might happen, the Pulp Fair would be there. I would love to see the Pulp Fair or any of the sort of magazine fair ones, because things like, I say, this sort of thing, these sort of things should be, it'd be really nice if it doesn't have to be comics related particularly. Just, I love old magazines from the 60s and 50s and 70s, etc. It's always great to pick those sort of things up. And I have been to some really good magazine fairs, but it would be lovely if they had that back room was a magazine fair. And also, of course, a pulp fair where you got all the books. Just got a book recently, a TV Time one, which I did mention. That one, it'd be brilliant if they had all those sort of paperbacks, the TV Time ones, because it's all Starsky and Hutch ones, of course, Kojaks and all those sort of great series, Space 1999 books, all those ones, the Avengers, of course. It would be really nice to see something like that included at that market. Just a bit of variety, just to add another sort of occasional, every 6 months, a pulp fair section would be brilliant at that London Comic Mart. But it was good, very enjoyable, always great to come up to it, and loved it. And also Gosh, of course. Gosh was great as well. Didn't go into Forbidden though. I didn't have time. Had to catch a train, so Forbidden missed out this time. I probably wouldn't have bought anything in there anyway, but Gosh is always worth checking out. I love Gosh, really worth going to. If you're in the centre of London, and it's reasonably easy to get to, quickly walk down there. Every time I go down there now, it's amazing how many shops have changed recently. Because that Elizabeth line, there's the station, Tottenham Court Road, Elizabeth line, loads of new shops down there. It's quite, I think, wow, don't remember those before. So, all those sort of things.